is the moment fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
Morning to you. Welcome to 2 Cents Sports and Entertainment on your Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Now, not really Irish, but it is almost St. Patrick's Day. Welcome to 2 Cents Sports and Entertainment.
What the hell?
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Nor was I. It just kind of, it's hit leprechaun in me. It comes out every once in a while at this time of year. I used to break that out quite often back in the day.
Yeah.
Every St. Patrick's Day, man, I'd go out and I'd break that accent out. I got pretty good at it for a while there. But top of the morning to you. You see, I'm Irish. I'm not the leprechaun. You want to fight? Then step up and we'll get it on.
That is such a great song.
Isn't it, though?
It is.
Unfortunately, we can't play it because of copyright.
Damn it.
Darn it.
Sorry.
Anyway, welcome to 2 Cents Sports News and Entertainment. I am your host, Scuba. And with me is my co-contributor and producer. I've been sick all week, so I'm not on the top of my game today, but there he is, Zach, the coach.
That's
We'll
right.
refer to him as... Never mind, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, okay. I know where you were going with that,
Well,
too.
I was going to... Well, it was actually probably going to go over your head if I did, but I'm going to call you Flounder. See, it went over your head.
Yeah.
See, it's a reference to Animal House. But anyway.
I have seen that movie,
Yes.
though.
Okay. Well, we are live from Talkwad Studios, and behind me is our banner for our sponsor, Butash and Donovan. We'll be plugging them, so if you needed any personal injury attorneys or, any kind of attorney, actually, really, for civil matters, contact Butash and Donovan, 813-341-2232. We'll be giving that stuff out a little bit later. If you are interested in yourself in being a advertiser on this show or a sponsor of this show, you can contact Zach, and I will allow him to give out the rest of our social media stuff.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You guys want to contact the 2 Cents Sports and Entertainment Show. Like us on Facebook at 2 Cents Sports and Entertainment Show.
We are up to 201 likes. We would like to have more.
That's right. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, I'm going to get Scuba on Twitter eventually. I've said that every week. And
he
just refuses. Follow me at 2 Cents Zach. Everything related to the show, guests upcoming, etc., blah, blah, blah. And then we also check out the website, www.2centsshow.webs.com. All of our archive shows, everything you need to know about us, it's there.
Yeah, so if you are interested in even contemplating sponsoring the show, and you want to see if we're worth time and effort, yes, our old shows are on there, and you can check them out. We are actually up for some regional awards here coming up in April.
That is true.
We've been nominated in several categories, so appreciate you listening in. Anyhow, it's been a rough week for your host here. I have been under the weather most of the week. The laboratory and I have become very good friends this week.
Oh.
Which is also why I was running late this morning. Not that anybody needs to know that.
Were you really? Is that why you were running late this morning?
It is, but... So I want to apologize ahead of time. I am having coughing spells this morning, so I'm going to do my best to not do that on air, or at least not directly into this microphone. I'm a little congested as well, so if I sound like I'm holding my nose, it's because it's congested.
It's like a duck is crammed up your nose.
Something is, anyway.
Ew.
At any rate, a lot going on this week. We do not have any guests lined up for the show today, but of course, so we are definitely welcoming any and all phone calls today. Zach, did you give out that phone number?
I didn't. The phone number to call in on any topic we're discussing today or anything you want to just throw out to us for our comments, 813-639-8255.
And you'll pop that up on the screen, too. So
I will.
If you're watching, you're obviously watching, but He put the number up there on the screen. So if you want to call in, we are going to be talking. Obviously, it was the first week of free agency that started on Tuesday. There were a lot of rumors circulating going into it, and a lot of activity this week, and still a lot of big names still out there. That'll probably be the biggest topic of the day. So, now, obviously going on today, too, and if you're listening here, you're obviously not there, but the Tampa Bay Lightning are hosting Sunday with the Cup down there at the Forum. It started right now. It's a 10th anniversary Stanley Cup celebration Sunday with the Stanley Cup. You're having photo and autograph opportunities with the Stanley Cup and members of the 2004 Stanley Cup Championship Lightning team. They're having some instructional Hockey 101 lessons, actually taught by our very own Lightning and Tampa Bay Storm owner, Jeff Vinik. Jeff Vinik is got to be one of the best owners in sports, not just hockey. And, of course, he does own the Tampa Bay Storm. So we'll be talking about that, too. That's actually going to be one of our first subjects. And we had the opportunity. We now have VIP media access to the Tampa Bay Storm and the games, so we're very happy about that, and we did experience that this week. For the Tampa Bay Storm's very first season opening win this season, and well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Obviously, if it's a season opener and it's their first win, it's going to be the same. So that was Friday night, 7:30. Tampa Bay Storm defeated the vaunted New Orleans Voodoo. I'm telling you, my brain is scrambled this morning. 62-57 was the final. It was an exciting game. It looked early on like we were going to be in trouble, and then we weren't looking like we were going to be in trouble. Then it looked like we were taking control of the game pretty easily, and then the tides turned and flipped, and it looked like we were going to be in trouble. And that's kind of the way the arena football goes. So my take on the game was that we have some serious secondary issues.
Well, I agree with you 100%.
However, I mean, we had some great secondary play that actually got us a couple key interceptions. However, I don't know if that was so much the secondary as it is that pass rush that we finally have. I really liked the way we were getting to the quarterback. We got new signee Jamie Curlew was in there, and Uriah Grant, really pushing on the outside and getting inside, and Rodney Beeman was able to get some pressure in there, and I think that led really to a lot of their interceptions. However, there were just Castile for the Voodoo. Just as much as he kept dropping balls, he was wide open on quite a few, and he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. Wide open on a couple occasions, and I'm not going to pick on our own safety, but dude, come on.
And you were right though, because I think you made a comment about how he has hands of stone. I mean, I think I looked. He was like 50% or under on his catches,
but when he was wide open deep for touchdowns, he was there, and I don't know why our safety was getting lost like he was a couple times, but I will say this: when he did get injured, and I know he wanted to get back in the game, we seemed to do a little bit better. I'm not sure what happened. Just a couple different times, he just was going the wrong direction. It's not, and it's not like Castile was running a different route or anything. He was running straight up the field. Pardon me. Sorry. Anyway, so. It kind of kept them in the game a little bit, but I overall, we can sharpen up that it was first game. To the guys' credit too, there's a lot of things that practicing. This is the first game they've actually truly played indoors. Well, they did have the one scrimmage. However, the New Orleans team, and we did get an opportunity to talk to their head coach and former Tampa Bay coach and player Pat O'Hara. Very nice gentleman, by the way. I've known him for quite a long time. Their team hadn't even got a chance to play a preseason game, so we really had the advantage there. But for all intents and purposes, this was really the first opportunity to play indoors. And you can't simulate a lot of the things indoors when you're practicing outside. You can't practice balls coming off the net or bouncing off the goalposts. In arena football, those are playable events, which is actually really exciting about the game, I think.
Well, I thought it was really exciting seeing a 6'7", 300 and what was it, 30, 60, 70 pound man by the name of Mario Henderson. My God.
Now Mario Henderson. Now here's one thing that the Storm. I was going to touch on this, but my cohort over here beat me to it.
It was just cool.
Well, yes. I mean, the one thing that the Storm lacked last season specifically was an offensive line of size. I don't think we had one single 300-pound guy. I think we did late in the season. But that was one thing that new head coach Lawrence Samuels wanted to change, as well as on the defensive side, defensive coordinator and former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and Minnesota Viking Chris Hovan wanted to get in on this team with some size. And my goodness, did they manage to do that? Because who Zach is talking about, Mario Henderson, actually he played for Florida State, Go Noles. 370 pounds is what they have him listed as. I think he was like 6'6" or something like that.
6'7".
6'7". Okay, I was gonna say 6'6", 6'7". 370 is what they had him listed at. No, man, this guy was got to be pushing 4 bills. I mean, he had tree trunks for arms. I mean, this dude was big. He was about the size of 2 of our linemen last year. So the offensive line did, I think, fairly well. I think they did very good. I mean, that was a big problem we had last season. It allowed our quarterback, Randy Hibbert, to play a little bit better. I'm still not happy with his arm.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on him either.
I think Steven Garcia is ultimately going to end up playing. I think, but right now though, since he's never played the game, you didn't want to put him in that position first game in. I'm going to give the Storm probably the first few games before Garcia is going to be the starting quarterback. Unless somebody else comes along.
Well, I mean, Hibbert, what did he do? He threw, 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions?
He started the game off with 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Now, the first one was absolutely horrid. The second one, I'll give him a little bit of a break on because he was throwing for a touchdown, and it did hit off the bottom of the goalpost and kind of bounced backwards and into the defender's arm. So I won't necessarily blame him completely for that, although the pass was high. And I saw that quite often, too. He actually sailed quite a few passes. But he floats his passes a lot too.
Well, and speaking of floating passes, we also had that unintentional touchdown when he threw that deep ball and actually undershot the ball.
Well, no, he didn't undershot. He threw the wrong pattern.
That's right.
The receiver actually came back to the ball
and
ended up turning into a wide open touchdown, but that wasn't the play. That wasn't what was supposed to happen. And Coach K right next to me was like yelling, "No!" It just worked out. It was like, then it turned, of course, to a quick yes. So I don't know that he's definitely going to be there for the long term of the season. I think Steven's going to get some more work in, start learning a little bit more. And I think before it's all said and done, and like I said, unless some other quarterback is out there for them to snag up, and we have confirmed that Adrian McPherson will not be one of them.
Because we spoke to him, what was it?
We did speak to him.
About 5-10 minutes, actually.
Yeah, we spoke to him for a little while. He was glad to see us. We were glad to see him, and he has decided, as you know, he was on the show with us a couple weeks back, and he was undecided about whether or not he was going to go to Canada. He has decided to do so. I think it was an issue that's just too much of a signing bonus to turn down, and although he wants to help the kids, I think ultimately the amount of money that he's going to get for the signing bonus and playing up there is going to, in the long run, will help him to help the kids even more. So good for him. We wish him well, and we did, and definitely want him to succeed. So he's not going to be coming back, but who knows what else, what other quarterbacks might come out there on the line, and we'll see. So it was a good win by the Storm. Had a couple. I definitely saw a different attitude, different size, some different things on offense that I liked. We got a fullback now. And let me tell you, this receiver we got too, because we were minus Joe Hills, our top receiver. He's going to be fine. He's just out, had some stuff to get cleaned up at his knee. He is able to play, but they'd rather make sure that he's 100%, and they have him in the long run, and probably going to sit him probably another week or so. But we had the receivers that came in filled in just nicely, and I'm speaking specifically of Justin Hilton. I'd really like to get him on the show, so we're going to work on that one. But my goodness, was he 147 yards, 4 touchdowns, was it on like 7 catches or something like that?
Yeah, it was a hell of a game that he played.
I mean, honestly, this kid, he's got mad skills. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm almost afraid of him to keep playing like this, because he's probably gonna get a look, whether it be from Canada or maybe even an NFL camp, just like Joe Hills has. So this kid from Indiana State, and he's got a lot of fire. I really like his attitude. I mean, it's a cocky attitude, but it's like not overbearing, where you just like, who is this guy? I mean, at least for me, I really like his fire, and when I see that's kind of really like, all right, cool, this guy's really here. He wants to play and he wants to do well, and obviously, he is definitely looking for other opportunities. I'm certain, but this is where he is right now, and he's clearly going to go out there and give it his all. And we do have a post-game interview with him, actually, if our producer would stop playing with his phone.
I'm sorry.
And so why don't we go ahead and we'll play that interview, post-game interview with Justin Hilton.
All right. Good. All right. First of all, congratulations. And at the half, you said that you needed to score more, and you did just that, 4 touchdowns. How are you playing there? How do you think you did?
Solid. I think our team came out, man. Week 1, it's always good to get a fast start to the season. We were elated for Coach Samuels to come out here as the first game as head coach back in his own team, man. That's an awesome feeling. So we just kind of came out here and wanted to get the win for Coach Samuels and also get off to a great start.
And how big is it to be a divisional rivalry like that and to get the win right off the bat?
Oh, any W, for the team, winning's contagious. It's going to carry over to the end of next week. It'll give us something to, gives you motivation to go into next week and practice, and everybody kind of walks around a little better. So we want to continue to get better. As Coach Samuels mentioned, there are some things here and there, but that's just going to come. Like I said, week 1's kind of the hardest because everybody's putting out fresh stuff. So
now that you've had week 1, you've spent your first time in the arena. What do you think you guys need to work on going into practice next week?
Behind the face mask, you kind of pay attention to your assignment for the most part, and everybody's wanting to be on the same page. We'll be able to go back and evaluate film and see as a whole, and go over it as a whole to see, where I can see what the next receiver's doing next to me or how to open him up better. The O-line did an excellent job, and there's just a few things that we still need to click on. And, that's the big thing going forward. So we're looking forward to getting back to work.
What can you say about the chemistry between you and him today? That just seemed like almost unstoppable.
Well, we were kind of just taking advantage of what the defense was giving us. I think Hip played sharp for the most part, made some good decisions. And sometimes the decisions give the fans a souvenir and throw it out of bounds, and just take it back and go to the next play. We weren't really trying to do too much. We were just trying to execute what the coach had scripted up for us. So, like I said, we have a few things to still get better on, and that's our goal is to have really no missing assignments and play perfect, which is every team's goal, really. So
there you go. That's Justin Hilton, our new Storm receiver. Now, I'm going to assure you, and I'm going to make this promise to you, that I am not going to be out-questioned by that woman again. Obviously, she's the official Storm questioner, Michelle. She asked the same set of questions to all 3 people that they interviewed, and they don't make any sense, some of them. It's just like, why are you asking the same question to the same people? I mean, let's get some different answers. I was just it was a feeling out process for me. I didn't, I was kind of feeling out the whole being there thing and process thing, but I promise you, I am going to ask more intriguing questions than asking the kinds of things that she was asking. Now, some of the other questions I don't know if you heard or not, because there's a couple other guys that are around the team too they're extremely quiet. It's like if you're going to ask a question, ask it so the guys can hear you and you're not whispering it to them. That's the other thing. I'm going to make sure that I ask questions and I'm loud, or not loud, but at least audible. And I'm going to ask a question that actually makes sense. She just was right there though. She was just throwing question after question, but it was the same set of questions, and it really kind of annoyed me because the third guy that we got in there, we probably won't play that one, but it was clearly stated that it was his first game, first year in the league, and she's asking him questions like throwing in the history of the team and like he's been there before, and it's just, don't ask questions like that. They just told you he hasn't played with them before. Why are you asking questions about his history of the team and this and that? It's clearly, she's one of those that you give them a script and they go off the script and are unable to adjust or change the script on their own, knowing the situation. And that's what I didn't like about it, is because she was using scripted questions and they just weren't appropriate for the person that she was speaking to. So that is my promise to you. And I believe we have some Storm fans listening, and hopefully we're going to have some more. We're working on getting some business cards and stuff so we can pass out. We really want to start promoting the show, and really want to kind of get this thing growing. So, but it was a good time. I think it was a good night. It was a good experience, and getting to see some things behind the scenes a little bit, and actually get on the field, and really get some true access to the players, and as if my seat right next to the bench wasn't enough, and now I can actually go into the bench at certain times. But it's just kind of neat, kind of chill before the game, just kind of, see the things that go on before people actually start getting there. And, again, this is more of this is the first time doing it, and it was kind of more of a feeling out process. I wasn't really sure what we could or couldn't do, where we could or couldn't go, and I got a better idea of that now, so I'll be creeping around that place a little bit more, so.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, folks, I had two buffets.
He's proud of this too, by the way.
I had the media buffet that was just fantastic. The people there know how to cook. And then I went into the VIP buffet, and
look at you barely.
They know how to cook too.
You can see because you can't even fit into the camera view, man. You ate like every buffet available.
So.
My goodness. He's on a seafood diet. He sees food, he's got to eat it.
Oh. Never heard that one before.
No, to his credit, and if I were feeling better, I probably would have ate more too. The food was very excellent. In the media room, they had baked chicken, and lasagna, and some other goodies in there. And in the VIP area, they had brisket and some mac and cheese with different style of stuff in there. So,
oh, Steve,
pardon me.
It's all right.
Do not blame him at all for taking advantage of that. I just unfortunately wasn't up to par, and wasn't something I could take part in. So, mute my mic for 1 second, please.
Okay. I hope he's okay. Scuba's been sick all week. But anyway, folks, what was the best part about the entire game was being able to just, sit there and go back in the back and be able to interview these coaches and players. I mean, the guy who does media for them, Ben Schotten, is such a cool guy. So if you need VIP media passes, go ahead and talk to him.
Yes, they're very very. Sorry about that, folks. I was losing it there for 1 second, so I am back. But yes, very, very, very open, and very, very nice to work with, and they're very easy to work with. And I'm hoping I need to ask about seeing if we can get anything like that for the Lightning. They do work for the same organization after all, so or they are partners. So I'm wondering. We'll have to check on that. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Playoffs coming up and all.
Ooh, maybe I should call him.
Well, we'll just talk to him at the next game in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
A couple weeks. Next home game. Next home game, too, by the way, March 29th. Orlando Predators. Our rivals. Used to be a really nasty in the back in the day. It's kind of toned down a little bit, where it's more of it's a rivalry now, but it's not nasty like it used to be in the 90s and early 2000s when the league was really flourishing. But it's still our big rivalries, the war on I-4. I encourage you to come check it out, man. They're always running good ticket specials. Heck, even you get a season ticket for every two season tickets you get. They give you 2 extra tickets for free. If it may be in the same section, unless you have like VIP section seats, and you'll just get regular seats, but they're still lower bowl. You can't beat that deal, dude. I mean, you get even the lower, they get club level tickets like $12. I mean, honestly, so you get two tickets, $12 game, 10 games or 8 games or whatever it is. Let's call it 10 games, because they do play 18 games, and for even $12 a game, that's $120 times 2, $240 for 2 season tickets. Plus, you get 2 more. I mean, that's a family of 4 right there. I mean, where can you get a better deal than that? It's a fun time. They cater to the kids quite often. You get access to the players after the game. They do little autograph sessions on the field. So if you have kids, they can run around and see what it's like to be on that field. Throw footballs around and stuff like that. It really is family oriented. Give it a shot. I'll tell you, I never gave it much of a look-see until about 1993. I mean, the league had been around for about 5 or 6 years, I think, at that point. It started in 87, so I've been around about 6 years, and I had always known about it. And back then, a lot of the teams, their uniforms, that's when Zubas were a big deal. How that ever became a fashion, I'll never know. I fell victim to it, though, I admit. But that's when the team used to have Zubas in their uniforms, and I went to a game. I moved here in November of '92, and it was early. It was early to 93, and it was like one of the last games of the season. And the place I worked actually got a group package, like about 20 of us all went to a game, and I was like, oh, well, what the heck, it's through work. It'd be a good social time to go out, and I fell in love with it. First game I went to, I was like, this is pretty dang cool. And I think they had like 1 or 2 more games after that. I went to both of them, and I was a season ticket holder from that point forward. So
and Steve got me hooked too. I mean, I was, he took me to a game, and his seats are the greatest, probably the best 2 seats in the house, right next to the bench. And I was like, this is cool. And now, now that we have media passes, I get to go every game. But then, I was taking his wife Claire's seat for a while. It's the funnest thing ever. It really is, folks.
Yep. Yeah, so check it out, man. Check it out. I encourage you to do so. But obviously, we want to take your calls. If you want to call in about the Storm game or your opinions on it, certainly welcome you to do that. Zach has put that phone number up there, 813-639-8255, and encourage you to give us a call if anything. If you got anything else you want to talk about, well, we're just going on our own little script here. Speaking of scripts, and this is your show too, so please give us a call. We're going to take a quick break here, and which I didn't tell my producer we're going to take a quick break here, but we are. We'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL free agency and what's been going on this week, and we'll be back here in just a moment.
I'm at the end of the world, and I stare into the abyss. I look back and wipe a tear from my eye and reminisce about the times that I had. How could they have been better? Maybe have my now, write my name and thank you letter. See, I think about my daughter, how she'll never know a dad. I gaze upon my shoes and see the pair my father had. Should I be mad or maybe sad? Nah, I should be glad. If I was in her life, it'd be worse than the one she had. Cheating on my wife, it was my new 9 to 5. I gave the clap so many times, applause fills my mind. I'm a king on the throne, reality I'm a drone. If home is where the heart is, then I truly am alone. You wanna know a man, walk a mile in his shoes. Don't be so quick to pass judgment on the path that he choose. This is my story and the author is you. So where's my happy ending, cause it's long overdue. I'm tired of this life, constantly burdened by strife. Eternally joining me like husband and wife. I am the Alpha and Omega, beginning to the end. As death hand approaches, let that second act begin. Trials and tribulations that we face, imagination got us praying for a savior, because the end is what we face. Another good time, it was good ride while it lasted. Can't fall in the wind is what we are. I hope that I last it.
Have led off today with a feeling so simple. With me. So why, with feelings like these, do we feel we're simple?
Like you, but similar in the physical form. But what I brewed up ain't your typical storm. You turn your back cause you wanna, I refuse to do the same thing. Rather spend my life in the chain gang. Turn my back on my daughter cause I'm proud with a mama. What kind of weak man is that? No father to Kiana, that's garbage. And I'm finna sauce it, cause me not being there is considered a loss. It's about to get real hard like brick walls, still ace driveways. Cause no dash it gets stalled till they die away. And when they fly away, look down, see what you raise. So when she look up, it won't be sideways. Cause kids nowadays, boy, they need that guidance. Without that, they bad, they will sneak and lock quick, cause that's what I did. Gave my mom so much stress, without a man I didn't get my high kick. I should've known, thrown emotion, put on the spot, forced to be a man without being raised by a bop. But all debate can stop, dog, I does my niggas the beat, rising sad in the heat, hollow the drum line installed in my brain, thoughts and failures that I get from you, but I would never ever let them come true. I see you in the mirror, and can't let them get to me. There's nowhere in hell that I would ever let you live with me.
Have led off today with a feeling so simple.
Are you in need of legal assistance? Michael G. Butash, attorney at law, may be able to help. A solo practitioner who will provide you the individual attention needed to walk you through your case. Attorney Butash can help you in the areas of criminal defense, personal injury, DUI offense, drug possession, and more. Call today for a free initial consultation. Pick up the phone and dial 813-341-2232.
Welcome back. Top of the morning to you. Anyway, this is our St. Patty's Day special at 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment. We just finished up our Storm talk, and we're pretty much done with that for right now. But of course, if you still want to call in and talk about it, that's fine. I do want to make a little correction. That commercial is a little old. Michael Butash does have a partner now, Mr. Donovan. So we want to make sure that you know it is Butash and Donovan for all your attorney needs. So,
and they accept all major credit cards.
Payment plans, I believe, as well. They'll work with you if you work with them. So it's all good. Hopefully you won't be in need of those services, but should you be, they're the ones to contact. So we had free agency start this week, NFL free agency start this week, and officially on Tuesday. Quite the busy activity this week.
For real.
Yeah. Before we really kind of get in that, I wanted to share also that I also had the opportunity on Friday, and the coach over here, he couldn't make it.
I'm so upset.
We got to tour the Tampa Bay Buccaneers training facility. was very cool, and it served us lunch in the dining room where all the players eat, it's really neat because the dining room is it's an executive dining room, and it's right off the practice fields. So if you look out the windows, and I didn't provide Zach with any of the pictures that I had, and I should have done so.
Well, I'm getting them right now.
Oh yeah, I did post a bunch, so maybe he'll pull some of those up. But if you look out the windows, it goes right out to the 3 practice fields that they have. You just passed them.
I know. I'm sorry.
And anyway, it's a really neat view. The food they've got, of course, their executive chef is also a nutritionist. And let me tell you something: the plates that they serve the food on, and I think he's pulling up a picture here real quick. The plates, and I didn't really get a picture of them. Everybody else was taking pictures of them holding the big plates, but these plates are 14.5 inches in diameter. It's over a foot long for those of us that are mathematically challenged.
That's me.
And they are 2.5 pounds, just the plates. Now it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pretty heavy. 2.5 pound plate especially after you start throwing some food on there. So, and Zach has the picture up there right now. That's kind of the view of my seat. The seats, of course, since everything's got to be made for football players, the seats are extremely wide, very soft, very cushiony. And the food was quite tasty, and they had all sorts of options available. And it was just really neat. And, we got to see the auditorium where I think Zach's going to pop that up as well. I don't know how long it takes, but the auditorium where they have like the major press conferences and so forth, like they did for their free agent signings. And there you go. That's kind of the back room view. This is the one and only room where they have enough space and seats for everybody on the team. Each of those chairs is, again, very wide. They do kind of adjust up and down, and they hold up to, like they said, 500 pounds. So hopefully, all the players can fit in those things. But they're very, very comfortable. I almost didn't feel like I wanted to get up. I could have taken a nap. Now, we also did get an opportunity at first to see the new helmet that they are coming out with in person. They've only really shown it on TV and in pictures, and here it is, folks. That's my very own picture. I can tell you this, that in person, it is much, much more impressive than what they've put out in their photos and so forth. I thought it was the helmet's really cool. And the chrome face mask, where I had concerns and other people have had concerns about the chrome and the sun reflecting off of it. It's not like a chrome like you see on your car. It's a different kind of chrome. It's a duller chrome, but it's not going to reflect. In other words, it's actually super cool looking up in person. And actually in 2 more weeks, they are actually holding an event over at the stadium for season pass members like myself to actually get an opportunity to see the new uniforms live and in person. And now that I just thought about it, I may actually end up missing that because I might have to be over in Orlando.
Well, maybe what should happen is...
actually, maybe not. I'm trying to think. I only have to be over in Orlando Friday night, and I think it's on Saturday, and then if it's Saturday, if it's not in the evening, I have to remember what time it is now, because if it's in the evening, I'm definitely going to miss it because we'll be over at the football game, the arena football game. So
hopefully I'm there.
Hopefully it's in the afternoon, but I am having a feeling it may or may not be, but we'll see. But at any rate, it was a very, very nice facility. It was something very cool for the Buccaneers to do, get their seat. And it wasn't just the one day. This every season ticket member has an opportunity to do this and bring guests, and you get to see their weight rooms where they work out. And it looks like Zach has that up right now. All state of the art. I did get a close up with the heaviest dumbbell they had was like 150 pounds. but it's just definitely a grade A facility. We saw the classrooms. Actually saw Lovie Smith in one of them, and I wasn't supposed to take a picture, and I realized it right when I was taking it. I wasn't supposed to, and so it came out really blurry, and I didn't get it. They also took us into the locker room. That was the one place they wouldn't let us take pictures. The locker room it's really, really nice, pretty neat, and it was just a good experience. So if you're not a Buccaneer season ticket holder, Now I finally truly believe the organization is getting back to doing business the way they were doing it when we finally got back to winning. I think we're going to get back to those winning ways. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to happen this season. I'm a little bit more confident we're going to do better this season. But we're definitely headed in the right direction, and got the right people. We got a lot of the right people in place now. A lot of the same kinds of people we had in here when Coach Dungy was around. And we're going to kind of get back to those days. All right, that's what I'm really hoping for. So, and it's going to be exciting, and they're really doing. And I know, look, I know the Buccaneers organization has to do a lot of this because they've really screwed up the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. There's no question about it. And I think a lot of these things that they're doing, it's great for the fans. It's a great way for the fans to get a little bit more in touch with their team, to not feel so distant that, as a season ticket holder, you're not just getting your season ticket and, oh, thanks for showing up to the game, see ya. Now, as a season ticket holder, you're getting more things like a tour of the practice facility. I imagine they're going to start, you already go to the stadium. Honestly, outside of going into the club level, if you've never been up there, touring the stadium is really not that big a deal. I can tell you that because I've been every place in that stadium. It's neat, but it's not that big a deal. But there's events like that, events coming up where they're going to review the new uniforms and little private sessions to meet players, and they're going to be doing some of these things. Now, a lot of this is damage control. I understand that, but I also think it's the direction that the organization is going to go in, and they're going to maintain that. I mean, how else can you get a connection to the community if you don't do these kinds of things? And when you become a losing organization again, and sorry, folks, that's what the Buccaneers have been for the last 10 years, all over again. They're a losing organization. You have to do things to get your fan base back, and it's not just about winning. Of course, obviously that's the easy part, or you would think it's the easy part. When you win, people will show up. That's obvious. But you know what? Sometimes it's the little things like this that you do that will bring people back. I know as a season ticket holder, especially these last couple of years, I've been starting to wonder. It's like, man, do I want to keep dumping my money into this organization? I'm just not sure. I honestly give more money to the Tampa Bay Storm than I do the Buccaneers. It's just I get more out of it. I mean, it's not this, it's not the same product, but entertainment value wise, what I get for the benefits I get from it, I get more out of it.
Well, I think the main thing for me is, I used to have season tickets to the Buccaneers games back in around 2005, 2006 when they were doing pretty damn well.
Well, they were still okay, you mean?
Well, yeah, but I mean, let's put it this way, they were better than they were last year.
Yes.
And I got about 5 rows behind the end zone for like $20 or $34 a ticket.
Not anymore.
No, now they're $35 for up nosebleeds, and I think that's costing a lot of people. They're not an economy friendly thing anymore.
Well,
it sucks.
But honestly, though, the Buccaneers, by league average, are still one of the cheapest tickets in the league.
Well, and they're also one of the worst teams in the league.
Well, I know. What I'm saying, but that's not my point. I mean,
I got
my
you,
point is if you want to go to an NFL game, by league average ticket wise, the Buccaneers are still near the bottom. So you can say what you want about the prices, and I can tell you too that when I first when my season tickets, when we moved from the old stadium to the new stadium, my tickets did go up a little bit, but my initial tickets where I'm at, and I'm still in the same section, except last year I did move up 2 more rows to the second row. my initial tickets were $36 a piece. Well, I can tell you right now, they're not $36. They're more than double that now. I'm actually also very fortunate. Other people around me actually are even paying about $20 more a ticket than I am. I think I got a benefit of being more a lengthy member, and also as well as I'm solo. I do not bring anybody else with me. But we don't need to talk about ticket prices and this and that. I mean, that's a whole other issue.
Yep.
It is what it is. My point is that, doing the little things, because you do pay so much, it's nice to give other little special events to show, to even at least give the appearance, even if you aren't sincere about it, at least give the appearance that you care about your fan base and that you're willing to do that extra stuff that, makes it a little bit more worthwhile. And I truly believe that I don't know why the Buccaneers lost focus in that. I think in all honesty, I think they got a little complacent when they had that phony waiting list of 100,000 people. I don't think I ever believed that they had a waiting list for season tickets of 100,000. I think that was all a crock.
Well, taking how there's probably about 20,000 open seats in the stadium each
There's
week.
more than that, my friend. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
However, even at their peak when we were selling out every single game, they were not all season ticket holders. They just weren't. I mean, there was just a lot of people coming to the games. It was great. We were selling out, and it was red or white jerseys in there with the scattered orange in there once in a while. Now the last several years it's back to the way it used to be. It's 50-50. You got 50-50 Bucs fans and 50% of the other team. And I can tell you too personally, in my section alone, in my seat, as far since I've been a season ticket holder for 20 years. I've been in that same section since the stadium opened in '97, and there are 2 people remaining in my section that have been season ticket holders from that point. 2. I mean, everybody has dropped off. I mean, every year there's just somebody else seems to drop off. A ton of people have dropped their tickets. I mean, granted, some people have moved too. But the season ticket base has drastically dropped, and you go in, and I can tell you also that I've seen many people, Buccaneer season ticket holders, and if you're listening, I'm calling your ass out, wearing other teams' shit when they come to town. Now listen, I have another favorite team too, and that's the New England Patriots, but I'm telling you this. As a Tampa Bay Buccaneer season ticket holder and living in Tampa, when the Patriots come to town, I still wear my Buccaneer stuff. Okay? I don't switch my team. It's disrespectful to the season ticket pass you're wearing around your freaking neck, and it's disrespectful to the home team. Okay? If you really want to cheer for your other team, and not the team that you hold a season ticket pass for, then come neutral. Don't wear one, like a jersey of one and a hat of the other, because I see that too. Make a decision. All right? Now, here's what I do. I still wear all my Buccaneer garb. But I do have one little tiny lapel pin for the Patriots, a little Patriot logo, and I wear that on my hat, on the side. And that's all as much as I will show for it. But I don't sit there and I don't cheer for them. I certainly inside I'm either cheering or against. I make a decision. I am living in Tampa. The game's here in Tampa. It's a Tampa home game. I'm a season ticket holder. The Buccaneers are who I got to pull for. The only time I won't necessarily do that if it's like a later game and Buccaneers are out of it and Patriots need to win and that kind of thing, then that might be a little bit different story. But it doesn't mean I'm still not going to wear my Bucs stuff. But I see it a lot, and I've seen season ticket holders wearing their other team's stuff, and I got a couple guys that I shoot the crap with each game, and he this past season he broke out his Carolina Panthers stuff. He was wearing Carolina Panthers stuff when Carolina came to town. He said, "Oh, it's just for one game. It's just for one." I said, "That's just not right. You said, well, because we're right where the visiting team comes out too.
Here, and I'll even show a picture of that real quick. This is a photo that Steve took right from his seat.
That's from my seat. That's the view I get, and that was our game against the Buffalo Bills. One of the 4 wins we actually did get on the season. So that's where I'm at, and I've seen it. Not this past season, but the year before that. The Colts came to town, and there was a whole family that went from cheering for the Bucs every game, and the next thing they know is that Monday night game against the Colts, that year without Manning and before Luck, and they were all in their Colts stuff, and the woman was just cheering for the Colts the whole night. Of course, it didn't go her way, and I laid into them, and I haven't seen them since. That's part of the problem. So when there's 50-50 in the crowd, it's a lot of these people. They're all out of town. Not all out of town, but they're out of towners or people that do live here that are still following their other teams, which is fine. If you've chosen to come here and still pull for your other team and not also pull for the Buccaneers, then that's cool. I understand that. But there are a lot of people that come there and they're just basically, the Buccaneers aren't doing good now, so I'm going to go ahead and put my other team's stuff on. It's, I don't know. It just bothers me. It does. And you know what? I'm a little bit hypocritical because I kind of do it in hockey. So here I am ranting and raving. I'm on my soapbox, and I just realized that I'm kind of a hypocrite.
I'm assuming you rep Boston Bruins stuff at the games.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not a season ticket holder. So that's the difference. I guess that's the only difference. I'm not a season ticket holder. If I became a Lightning season ticket holder, which I would absolutely love to do, they just have too many games on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Unfortunately, those are my nights that I have karate at Tampa Bay Tuxedo Center in South Tampa. Had to get my little plug in there. We do need some students, so if you're interested in martial arts, get in touch with me. I'm an excellent teacher. And, of course, Grandmaster Barrett is as well.
Well, and you're testing for your master.
I will be testing for my master's this fall, hopefully. So.
He's going to be Grandmaster Scuba.
No, I will be Master Scuba.
Master Scuba.
Yeah.
That's going to be your new radio name when you get it.
Perhaps. But at any rate, I lost my train of thought.
Lightning season ticket holders.
Right. If I were a Lightning season ticket holder, I would stop wearing, Bruins gear to a Lightning game when they're in town. That is the only time. Otherwise, I always do wear my Lightning stuff, and at the same time, I also do the same thing. I'll still wear a Lightning pin, if I do wear my Bruins stuff there. So I guess I am slightly hypocritical. I guess my issue is more people flipping when they actually have a season ticket for that team, because that's to me, that's just the ultimate betrayal. It's different than when you like a team, 2 different teams. But if you're giving that team your money and you're attending every other game as their fan, as a season ticket holder, and then you flip on them like that, to me, that's kind of a disrespect. Maybe I'm wrong. If you feel differently, give me a call and give me your opinion. The more I think about it, maybe it's not much different. But I think it is. As a season ticket holder, you're disrespecting your season ticket seat, the team that you're getting. By being a season ticket member or holder, or however what you want to call it, I think you're pledging a certain amount of allegiance to that team. And by doing that, you're just disrespecting that. But that's just my opinion. I welcome yours as well. Anyway, I think I've just gone on an extremely long digression, and but that's okay. That's what we do here. If you have a different opinion than myself, I welcome you to please call. We will not talk to you. But getting back to what we were originally going to start is free agent signings. We will start with the Buccaneers. They cleaned up pretty well, I think, their first couple days. I know they're not done. Biggest signing, of course, pardon me, would be Michael Johnson, defensive end from Cincinnati. Buccaneers were desperately in need of a defensive end since they were chased Michael Bennett out of town. Thank you, Greg Schiano. So they signed him. And, of course, the Buccaneers did have to release Darrelle Revis. They just could not afford to pay him $16 million. And with that $16 million, they were actually able to sign about 3 other players to fill holes that team had. And one of which was Alteron Werner, who is cornerback from Tennessee Titans, also a Pro Bowl corner himself. So it's not, they're not losing a great deal. They're losing Revis, yes, but you got another Pro Bowl corner coming in, so you were able to sign him and 2 other guys, including tight end Brandon Myers, who shares my name, which was, when I was at that Bucs thing the other day, a couple kids saw my name tag while I was in the bathroom, and they were just whispering to each other, his last name's Myers, Brandon Myers. So they all thought I was related to him, so I kind of went with it, and just gonna, don't want to disappoint the kids, But so Brandon Myers brings a definitely former Raider and former Giant. Brandon Myers, a decent tight end. He's definitely a guy that can block. Definitely a guy that's not afraid to go in the middle, catch a pass if he has to. So I think you team him up and Tim Wright, who they discovered late in the season last year, who's plays tight end but kind of plays like a wide receiver. I think that brings a good dynamic. The Buccaneers finally have a couple tight ends now that they can go to, and of course they have some other guys that might be able to step up that were injured last year. So they've kind of filled that void. And then, of course, on the defensive line as well, they signed defensive tackle Clinton McDonald from the Seattle Seahawks. Clinton McDonald was kind of more of he wasn't a full-time defensive lineman with the Seahawks. He was more of a specialist, come in there on certain downs and so forth, kind of put pressure on the quarterback. While I shift, and actually did quite well. I believe he still had 5.5, 6.5 sacks last season. Michael Johnson, of course, with the Bengals, defensive end, which I talked about first, had 11.5 sacks for the Bengals last year. So we've got 16, 17 more sacks on our defensive line. That's going to help tremendously. I mean, you think Gerald McCoy had a good season last year with his 11 sacks. Think what he's going to have now when Adrian Claiborne can now come off the edge like he's supposed to, and he's not going to get double teamed anymore because now they're going to have to account for Michael Johnson, and you plug in Clinton McDonald in there, and rotate him in there. The Buccaneers are finally, I think, going to finally get some pass rush, and that's going to help that secondary immensely. So we're going to have. I still think we got 2 of the best 2 safeties in the league. I'm not saying two of the best safeties in the league, but we have, as far as having 2 safeties, we have 2 of the best combined. And young Mark Barron and of course Deshaun Goldson. And then we'll have Jonathan Banks. He'll be coming back for his 2nd year. I think he learned quite a bit last year. I think he's going to be more prepared and ready. And then, of course, we're going to have Werner in there, and then we'll see what other guys they have rotating in there and their nickel packages and so forth. But having that pass rush is going to help that secondary immensely. I like what I'm liking what how this defense is shaping up for the Buccaneers. And then, of course, you're going to have great defensive minds like Lovie Smith as the head coach, but then Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator. This is going to be huge because the offense is still going to have some holes, folks, and they haven't plugged that in yet. However, the Buccaneers have shored up that offensive line quite a bit. They got rid of Davin Joseph, who still remains unsigned, by the way, and they also dumped Fat Donald Penn. And by fat, I mean, yeah, he's fat, but he also carried a fat contract. And they signed Anthony Collins, also from the Bengals, to kind of fill in at the tackle position, who, ironically enough, Anthony Collins, up until last year, had only been a backup player for the Bengals for his 4 or 5 years with that team. And he got an opportunity to play last year due to an injury, and he was phenomenal. Did not give up a single sack all last season. And we all know Andy Dalton took quite a few sacks last year, so that's pretty good. And they got him at a pretty good price. He's going to fill in pretty good. So I really like what they're doing here. Of course, they got a new center, Evan Dietrich Smith from the Packers. Also going to fill in nicely, get a little bit younger there. Some people are worried that might mean the end of Jeremy Zuttah. I don't believe it will. Jeremy Zuttah, the thing he's got going for him is he's versatile. He can play center, he can play guard, he can actually even play tackle if he has to. So you got a versatile guy like that on the offensive line. You keep him around, and that's quite honestly why Zuta's remained with this team, because he's had to do exactly that. Step in. And of course, if the Buccaneers, if Carl Nix is finally going to be healthy and off that MRSA stuff, and that nasty toe of his is healed, or at least functionable, Carl Nix is one of the best offensive linemen. It just didn't work out last year due to the MRSA and the injury and so forth, and that kind of stuff happens. I mean, they have a pretty formidable offensive line. Now, on the downside, they did sign Josh McCown. No, folks, he's not the future quarterback of this team, but he is the immediate future of this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. It's clear that he's going to be he's going to be the starter, unless somehow Mike Glennon has gotten vastly better. Josh McCown's going to be your quarterback. Now, we've had McCown in here before, his brother Luke. I have concerns about Josh McCown, simply because I'm just not sure. I mean, this is a patchwork. He's 34. This is a patchwork. I'm hoping that the Buccaneers, this is a patchwork to get the Buccaneers through 1 or 2 more years, so they're not going to have to get a quarterback in this draft. We talked about this last week. I don't like any of these quarterbacks really coming out, and at least as far as wasting a first-round draft pick on them.
Well, neither did Jeff Carlson, and neither did John Kaleo either.
That's correct. So I'm going to trust those guys even more than I do. So I'm looking for this to be a patchwork to get the Buccaneers through the next 1 or 2 seasons until they land or find that, whether it be a free agent quarterback or that quarterback in the draft, Jameis Winston.
Oh, come on. No.
Well, listen, unless the Bucs continue to stink, there's no chance they're going to get Winston. It looks like Winston's going to come back hopefully for at least 2 more years. That would be really nice. But we'll talk about college football much
and
later.
He's also playing great baseball.
He is.
Let's not go into college baseball until next week.
Yes, next week we will be doing some college baseball. But so McCown, I think, is their patchwork quarterback for at least the next 2 years. They did sign him for 2 years, so I like the signing, but I have my concerns, because is this going to be another backup that stepped in and played admirably for his team in a situation where he really had nothing to lose, a la Matt Flynn? He's a stud.
Who? Matt Flynn.
Yeah. or any number of other quarterbacks, Matt Schaub, any other number of quarterbacks that have gotten a decent contract, free agent sign after having, coming in and replacing a quarterback and playing quite well. Those haven't turned out necessarily to be well when they've actually had to be the true focused starting quarterback. But look, if it doesn't work out, or like I said, if Mike Glennon has really improved himself or plays well enough, then I think the good thing is that should Glennon win the job, that I don't think Josh McCown is going to have a problem going back to the bench, because that's what he's used to doing. I think he's a consummate professional. In other words, it's not going to be a situation like a Mike Vick or what have you, where you might get some whining and crying that, I should be a starting quarterback, that kind of thing.
Well, I don't think that Glennon is going to improve that much in the next couple of years, and I think the reason the Bucs are doing this is, and just like you said, drinking your unofficial sponsor Monster. But anyway, I think that the reason they're doing this is to give Glennon someone to learn from for the next couple of years, because, McCown knows what he's doing. He threw 13 touchdowns and 1 pick in 8 games with the Bears that he started in. So, he's doing something, At least he's able to carry on a starting position for a couple games or 2.
Yeah, Glennon will probably be able to learn from him, but I honestly don't think that Glennon's going to be around. I think as soon as they have an opportunity to get rid of him, they will. Right now, they're kind of stuck with him.
Thank you, Greg Schiano.
Well, listen, I don't know. I still not sure that we've seen enough of Mike Glennon. We talked about this a little bit last week as well. He was also put in a very precarious position. I don't think he was put in a very fair position. He was put in a position with a really crappy football team. He was put in a situation with a third-string running back when it all came down to it. He was put into a situation where he only had one receiver that he could really go to and trust, with Mike Williams being injured at the time, and your only alternate receiver being Tyquan Underwood. No offense to Ty. He's just not anything more than fourth receiver.
I disagree.
Well, you can disagree all you want, but that's why you will see that he's not going to be anywhere. At any rate, so what can we judge by Mike Glennon? I mean, I did see some good things from him. His deep ball is a little bit of suspect, but he did, for the most part, I think he did well in protecting the football. He didn't turn it over too often. With regards to interceptions and fumbles, he did throw some bad interceptions, but not as much as you would expect from a rookie. I mean, he made some rookie mistakes, and bottom line is he still threw more touchdowns than interceptions. And as a rookie, in 13 out of 16 games, I mean, that's pretty impressive in its own right.
He's always better than Josh Freeman.
Yeah, well, hey, he's out there too.
Oh yeah, he's a third-string Vikings quarterback.
No, he's not.
He was released?
He's a free agent.
Yeah, because he sucks.
Oh, I'm just saying.
He sucks. I guarantee you he will not sign with anybody else.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're right.
I want to place a bet with anyone on that. And if anyone disagrees with us, 813-639-8255.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not just talking to Buccaneers here. We're going to start talking about other teams too. I mean, if we're, talk about if you have a different team that you favor, please give us a call. Tell us what you think about your, how your team's been doing. My other team, the Patriots, they've finally starting to make a couple little deals. They signed Brandon LaFell last night. Good receiver. He played with Carolina. I actually think he finally started coming on a little bit, and I think the Patriots are kind of getting him at the right time, where he was actually, I think he started to blossom a little bit with Carolina towards the end of last year. So that's going to be a good pickup. The Patriots were smart enough and re-signed Julian Edelman, which I was getting worried about. It's like I'm not sure how I feel about this, but they are bringing Kenny Britt in for a visit. Look, one thing is the Patriots don't play around, and we all know Kenny Britt's got some serious issues. He's also got some serious game, and one thing I can say is if you're going to turn yourself around, the one team that's going to allow you the opportunity to do that is going to be the New England Patriots. But you're going to be on a short leash, and the moment that you screw up, you're pretty much going to be gone. The Patriots don't fool around. They're not afraid to cut anybody. That's why they allowed Brandon Spikes to leave. So Brandon Spikes is gone. He's signed with Buffalo. I hate to see that happen, but they let guys go. But one thing about the Patriots, they did sign Darrelle Revis, of course. They know what they're doing, and they're not very good free agent signers. I can tell you that much. A lot of them haven't worked out. But one thing they are good, they do know generally when to let a guy go and when not to let a guy go, and still kind of figuring out if Will Fork's going to be there or not. Will Fork has asked for his release. He has a really tight relationship with owner Robert Kraft. This is certainly not a personal thing. This is all business. Both those individuals have talked about this time coming. They're aware of it. It's a business thing. He wants his release, so he has the opportunity to sign somewhere else because he knows the Patriots can't, or more or less won't, pay the salary he's owed and is going to demand. But if no other team is willing to go out there and sign a guy like Will Fork, he could come crawling back to the Patriots and sign for less, and that's always a possibility. I would love to see it. I think the Patriots, it was clear when he went down last year, the Patriots missed him dearly. They were in the top 5 in stopping the run, and then when Will Fork went down, they plummeted to damn near last. He's that much of a difference. So I would love to see him back, but I understand the business and the Patriots, they have a tendency to know when a guy needs to go. So we'll see what happens there. I'm baffled at the signing of Eric Decker with the New York Jets. Yeah, he got paid, but dude, I don't know.
Well, let's put it this way. He's going to be an immediate number 1 because they let Santonio Holmes go.
Yeah, but all right, but on most any other team, is he really a number 1 receiver?
No, he's not. But I think the best fit for him would have been the Panthers.
Yeah, his mistake is he's going to be like Alvin Harper,
Yeah.
was a clear number 2 in Dallas and signed as a number 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ultimately, speaking of hands of stone, I mean, he was never a number 1 guy. And Eric Decker, you're not a number 1 guy. And unfortunately, that's what they're going to count on for the Jets. And right now, the Jets really still do not have a quarterback. Geno Smith, as much as people were trying to tout him for the first few games there, he really hit the bed. And there's starting to be a lot of questions about whether or not Geno Smith's going to work out there in New York. So the Jets have quarterback problems. So why would you want to go to a team outside of the money you're going to get to be a number 1 receiver for a team that you're really not a number 1 receiver and you have nobody that's going to throw you the ball?
Someone made a joke about that. They're like, "Yo, good job, Eric. You went from Peyton Manning to Geno Smith."
That's another thing. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to admit, Peyton Manning made you a little bit more of a receiver than you probably really are. Why would you go the complete 180 and go to a team where you're not even going to have a quarterback to get you the ball? Just this is the kind of contract that's going to get you cut. And it looks like we have a call coming in.
We do have a call. Caller, welcome to the 2 Cent Sports Entertainment Show. How you doing? What's your name and what's your purpose?
My name is Matt.
Hi, Matt.
How you doing, Matt? What's your question?
I'm doing good.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
All right, what can I do for you? What's on your mind?
I wanted to ask a question about what do the guys think the state of the team is right now?
Which team?
The Bucks?
The Bucks.
Okay, you got to clarify because we've been talking about several teams. What do you think the state? Our opinion on the state of the team right now?
Yeah, with all these free agent pickups.
I like what they're doing. I think that what I was touching on before, I think that they filled a lot of the holes that they had, and they're setting themselves up really well for the draft. They've plugged their biggest problem that they had was the defensive line. I think they've addressed those issues. I think that they obviously had issues at quarterback. I think that they've kind of solved that issue, as I said before, for at least the next year or two. They got the corner. They got rid of a corner. They got another Pro Bowl corner in. So I think that they're good there. I think they're setting themselves up in the draft. I really look that I truly believe that the Buccaneers now going in the draft, as long as they keep that 7 pick, are hoping that a guy like a Khalil Mack at linebacker is going to fall to them, or wide receiver Sammy Watkins. I think that's what the Buccaneers are going to be targeting now in the first round. I think they're going to be looking at linebacker and wide receiver, depending, unless they sign one of these other guys. I think so. I think they've done a good job at plugging the holes that they needed to do. Now they can concentrate on getting some depth and get some young guys in here to fill in those spots. So when some of these other guys start aging, what do you think?
Well, I'm thinking they're going to be a little hurt by losing Davin Joseph.
Well, but they did. But I'll tell you, the guy that they signed is not only did they get him for cheaper, but he was Anthony Collins. I'm speaking of, did not give up a single sack last year for the Cincinnati Bengals. So you kind of got to look at it, and he's also younger. So it's one of those things. It's kind of a money thing. It's an age thing, and you got to kind of put it in perspective. I mean, I like Davin Joseph just as much as the next guy, but there's also a reason why Davin Joseph hasn't been signed by anybody yet either. He was injured last year a little bit. He's getting up there, and if you can bring in another guy for a little bit less money to free up, to possibly sign somebody else, and you got a guy that's coming in that didn't even give up a single sack last year, I don't think that you've lost out too much in that regards.
Okay.
Now,
I see what you're saying.
Not disagreeing with you. I'm just kind of giving you my perspective, and that's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
Now, Matt, who are you a fan of?
Well, I've just moved up to Michigan. I'm a Detroit Lions fan.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I rooted for the Bucks when I used to live down in Tampa.
Okay.
So I got a question for you then, Matt. Do you think that Brandon Pettigrew signing $4 million a year for 4 years, so it's a 4-year, $16 million deal, do you think that's too much for Brandon Pettigrew?
You know what? I don't think that's too much, because the one problem he's had is, especially last year, is dropping. his drops are just they hurt us in crucial times of the game, and I believe that if he eliminates those drops, he can be a really effective player, helping us pick up those first downs, the little things, and especially after picking up Golden Tate, I think we can build pretty effective offense this year.
Well, let me ask you about
the pass game.
Let me ask you about Golden Tate. I think we were actually just talking about another wide receiver, Eric Decker, signing with the Jets as a number one receiver when, clearly he's not. That's kind of my opinion about Golden Tate, too. I mean, do you think, obviously I think that's going to fill in nicely. That's going to help Calvin Johnson there in Detroit quite well, getting him in there. I don't know. I think you guys needed to keep Pettigrew, but I think you overpaid for him. That's my opinion only. But Golden Tate will definitely bring something else to open up that the other side of the field. And as if Calvin Johnson didn't get open enough. I guess the question is Stafford going to be the Stafford of last year, or is he going to be the Stafford of the year before?
Yeah. That is what a lot of people have been wondering, and it's gotten to the point where, I've seen comments of where we need to get rid of this guy and everything, but people believe he's got the talent, and if you saw it back in 2011, he passed for he was one of 4 guys to pass over for 5,000 yards, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, his decision-making is the only thing where I see he needs to improve, because if he gets that, he's got his run game, and Bush and Bell, hopefully they stay healthy, knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets his decision-making down, I believe he can be a really effective quarterback, and I've heard a lot of experts say that's one thing that he really does need to work on. And if he gets that down, especially getting the new coach, Caldwell, in here,
yep,
and getting his new offensive coordinator, I believe it's Joe Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets, I believe that he could have a productive season this year. He gets that decision-making down, he can really become an effective quarterback, and maybe take us pretty far.
Yeah,
I'm a Lions fan, so that's what we always think every year.
There's always next year. I know. I know a couple myself. No, I agree. I've always liked Stafford. I've always thought he was very good. I've had him. I've even had him as my fantasy quarterback a couple times. I agree with you. The decision making sometimes is. I think that he tries to do too much sometimes, and I don't know that that's always his fault. I think that that's the kind of player he is. He's just trying to make things happen when things aren't working the way they need to, and I think the coach I think you finally got a good coach in there that's going to be able to help with that. He's one of the best. Caldwell is, and they probably couldn't have gotten a better guy for a quarterback like that. And of course, hey, if that doesn't work out, you always got Sean Hill, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I think isn't he an unrestricted free agent now?
That's true. That's true. I was really being silly, but
yeah.
I look for them to rebound a little bit. It's Golden Tate will help out a lot. I still don't think Golden Tate's like all that great of a receiver. I think he fit in nicely in Seattle, but he's going to be a good complement to a guy like Calvin Johnson. He's going to require somebody to at least cover him, and that's good. So, but
yeah.
Do you have anything else?
That's about it. I just had some questions about the Bucs, and then of course we got talking with the Lions, and
yeah.
I think that about summed it up.
Hey, let me ask you a question. How'd you hear about our show? How'd you find out about our show?
I'm actually friends with I don't know, Zach Williams Cooper. I'm friends with him.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. We'll spread the word if you're enjoying the show. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you calling in, and hope we answered your questions.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Take care, Matt. Thanks, bud.
All right, thank you, Matt, for
people
calling.
I know. You see the contribution I put to this show.
Well, it's about time.
Ouch.
Yeah. No, it's good. Well, when you said, I thought it might be somebody that you knew, but then you said he was living in Michigan now. So.
Yeah, but anyway, I really appreciate the call, Matt, and we're talking NFL free agency right now.
Yeah. See, we'll talk about your team too. I stick with local teams because we are a locally based show, but obviously we reach out to other areas too, and we will talk about your team if I'm able to. So, we're not just, like I said, we're not just talking about the Bucs. We're not just talking about my Patriots or whatever team Zach chooses to like this week. I don't know. So
Hey man, look, I have liked 3 teams. 3 teams. The Bucks, the Bengals, and the Chargers, and that's it. I have not digressed from that. I have not changed. I am those 3 teams.
All right, if you say so.
What? Have you seen me liking another team other than those 3? Like who?
No.
Thank you.
All right. At any rate. So, no, there's still some guys out there. One guy I was kind of hoping the Bucks might sign it. He left town without a contract. Charles Peanut Tillman, but he did end up going back to his old team, the Bears. Probably what that just generally means is no one really wanted you that much.
Oh, Steve, it's all right, guys. He's sick.
Looks like we have another call coming in.
Oh, we do. Sweet. All right, caller, welcome to the 2 Cent Sports and Entertainment Show. State your name and purpose.
How you doing? This former Bucks offensive guard, Cozy Coleman, calling in.
Hey, Cozy, how's it going, sir?
It's good, man. It's going good. How you doing?
Just fine, just fine. Thanks for calling in. How you? What's going on with you today?
Just checking you guys out, man. Calling with some comments on free agency and whatnot. Sharing my thoughts.
Well, I'll definitely take your thoughts. You probably got a lot more insight than I do, that's for sure.
Well, it's all opinionated. But so far, man, I'm actually liking what Lucky's doing. He's with the record the Bucks put out there the last year or 2, actually, they do a overall overhaul, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's pretty much up on the chopping block. They've pretty much been the bottom of the division the last couple of years, but on the brink, but just hadn't been getting it done for whatever reason. And Larry coming in as a new coach, it's on him to put the guys out there to build the team basically that he feels as though he can win with, because at the end of the day, it's his job that's on the line.
Yeah, and you've obviously you've been there and done that. We all know. I remember you quite well, and it's a tough game out there, and I like what they're doing. I mean, I hated to see guys like Davin Joseph get cut and things of that nature, but it's a business and so forth. My take on it was that we kind of got rid of Davin, who on no fault of his own. He's just had some injuries. He's getting a little bit up there, and his contract was a little bit heavy. We got another guy in, Anthony Collins. What do you think about that situation? And you think that that's going to work out all right, or?
I like Anthony Collins. He's a versatile player. Who's, he's proven in the league.
Right.
And some of the guys that let go, Penn and Joseph, they were also proven, but it's a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a numbers game, and again, with a new coach coming in, sometimes he needs to shock everybody and get a new group in to kind of buy into what you're doing, as well as to get the fans on board. And this guy Anthony, he's a versatile player, like I said, who's proven, and it's a fresh start for him with a new team.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the move. I mean, obviously, I hate to see guys like Penn. I mean, I know Penn and Joseph,
mm-hmm.
and I hate to see them guys go.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily feel as though it was, quote-unquote, their fault, but just the nature of the beast, man. It's a numbers game. Guys get up in age. They backload most of these guys' contract just for that very reason. If you're not producing or playing at the same level that you were when you first, signed a big contract,
mm-hmm.
It's rare that guys finish out 5- and 6-year deals these days.
Yeah, that's very true. And, on the line with us, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer offensive lineman Cozy Coleman, Super Bowl champion Cozy Coleman, on the line with us, sharing his thoughts on the Buccaneers free agent signings. I really I think, honestly, I hate to see those two guys go too. I think Donald Penn basically came out of nowhere, and I think he is played phenomenal football. I'm pretty sure that he won't have any trouble catching on somewhere else. But I think the Bucs are doing what they need to do to, like you said, upgrade the position. Hopefully Carl Nicks will come back strong. Of course, the Buccaneers also signed, a new center to fill in, admirably too. Evan Dietrich Smith there from Green Bay. But so that allows a guy like Jeremy Zuta to possibly move into more of a natural position for himself, at least provide some depth on that line. And clearly our offensive line failed us a little bit last year, at least in my opinion. I know what's your take on that? I mean, as an offensive lineman yourself, you probably see a lot more than myself as a casual fan or observer.
Well, it was one of the highest paid lines, and so with that, you expected the offensive line last year to be a strength of the team. Now, the running back went down. I think that affected things. But, having a young quarterback, regardless who was in the backfield, you would expect the Bucs to be able to lean on the offensive line to give, the young quarterback, a tad bit more time to throw the ball, given the fact that he was, a young player. Like, let's put that on our shoulders to make his job a tad bit easier coming into the league, as well as let's get the running game going and really be able to establish the running game against whomever we play to, again, make the quarterback's job easier. And you would expect that with the payroll that they was putting out for the offensive line, and the fact that they didn't get that done, again, that made everybody expendable. And again, also with having a new head coach and making those types of moves, everybody comes into training camp realizing that no jobs are really for certain. It's a new head coach. He's definitely shaking up things. The fact that you was a starter last year really is irrelevant. It's like coming to the training camp with the mentality that, hey, I have to prove myself all over again. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That kind of makes everybody step their game up a little bit, and you get the best out of every player, because it makes it more competitive, if you will.
Absolutely.
Now, the flip side of that, me as a player, with the releasing of those guys, if I was in those guys' shoes, be it Joseph or Penn, that's the downside of football from the athlete's perspective. You're like, where's the loyalty? I've done all I could do with the team, play through injuries, and whatever else each individual may do. From a player, from a personal side, it sucks to be in that situation. Once you do everything you could do and put your best foot forward and really, sell out for the team, if you would, you expect to kind of be rewarded or at least appreciated. But again, I've been in them situations. It's a cold world. It's definitely a cold game, the NFL. None of that is personal. It just is what it is. That's the nature of the beast, if you will.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a quick question. We'll get back to the team too. But as an offensive lineman, and I'm sure you've experienced this, if your blocking scheme's set up for a particular starting running back, that running back goes down, and now you have a different guy that comes in there that probably has a different running style or a different view of the field or whatever. Does that affect you as an offensive lineman? Do you have to address your blocking scheme or how you do your job, or is your job, hey, this is what I have to do, and it's up to the running back to, hit the proper hole or do this or do that, or do you have to do some adjustment knowing that, player A will have a tendency to do this or player B does this? Can you? Because that's one thing I think about last year when when Dougie Martin went down, and then Mike James, different runner, and then he went down, and then we have, Rainey, who, basically nobody heard of before up until then. Can you tell me if that makes a difference at all, or?
I mean, the starter is a starter for a reason. The starter, on any given team, the starting back is the starting back because he's earned that right. He's proven that he's beaten the other guys out. And, when you're putting your best 11 on the field, you would like for him to be out there. But as an offensive lineman, honestly, man, it doesn't really matter who's in the backfield. Your job really doesn't change,
Mm-hmm.
On any given team, you typically have a versatility in your backfield. No team really has the same back. Most teams these days using a power back, speed back, or scat back type mentality. So as a lineman, you may have a preference, depending, like, for instance, I'm an SEC guy, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy power football. I was a product of that, pulling, trapping, coming downhill. But at the same time, I played in Buccaneers backfield with Warwick Dunn, who was a back that could do that, but he was also an edge back who we like to get on the edge and, like to get him out in space. It didn't really make a difference. My job didn't change. Who was in the backfield, whether it was Warwick Dunn or Mike Allstott. It didn't really make much of a difference. I still had to go out, move the guy in front of me, and make a hole. So You know, the linemen do what they do, the backs do what they do.
Right. Well, that's why I wanted to ask, because I knew that you definitely blocked for two completely different backs, you know, in Allstott, the power back that could, still had some moves, but you got Warwick Dunn, what I guess you would call a scat back of sorts. So I knew, and of course, different sized gentlemen too.
Exactly.
Again, on the line with us, former offensive lineman for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Super Bowl champion, and I will say BCS national champion. Unfortunately, beat my Seminoles. Cozy Coleman on the line with us.
Good old days.
Yeah, yes, sir, definitely. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, does it?
Man, time flies. Time flies.
Absolutely. But getting back to this current Buccaneer team now, I know you probably didn't have a whole lot of interactions with Coach Lovie, but he was on the staff, I believe, when you were playing. What can you tell me about him? I mean, it seems to me like this current Buccaneer team's kind of trying to get back to those days, the type of coaches and the personnel and so forth that they had under Coach Dungy and so forth. Can you tell me about that? Where you think this direction this team's going?
I mean, obviously, Lovie Smith is known for being a defensive-minded coach, as Coach Dungy was, and I think when you think defensive minded, you understand how to keep other teams' offenses negated by defense as well as running the ball. So I think the fact that he's a defensive line coach, he also has appreciation for just line play in general, and that correlates with the offensive line. I think he really does a good job of understanding that the offensive and defensive line really is what controls the ball game. That's how you can let a player like Darrelle Revis go, because if you put a good defensive line in front of two solid quarterbacks, that's just as good as having the Revis out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he just as a coach, I feel as though he really understands line play is going to put an emphasis on that on both sides of the ball. But obviously, his specialty is being known is being known as a defensive-minded coach, first and foremost. But he does have appreciation for the offensive line as well, and that's huge moving forward, because that's the core of your team. If you solid on both sides of the ball, they can control that line of scrimmage. Not to take away from many of those guys in the secondary, but their job is much easier, both offensive backs and defensive backs, when they got a solid group up front to get it done. Yeah,
and that was definitely something lacking from the Buccaneers. I don't even just say last year, just even the last 3 or 4 years for sure. Is that, even not even this past year, the year before that, when, our secondary might also just been nicknamed Toast, but I don't completely blame them. We had absolutely no pass rush. And you hit the nail on the head, Cozy. I mean, just look, if you're not rushing or putting pressure on a quarterback, and he's back there setting up a campfire and a tent and roasting marshmallows before he throws the ball, I mean, you can only cover a guy for so long. I mean, that's just common sense, I would gather. So, I mean, I personally like the way this direction of this team is going, and my opinion, you were kind of touching on it too. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, well, he's just another defense." Going back to Coach Lovie, he's like, "Oh, he's just a defensive coach, and our problem is on offense." But wouldn't you assume that a defensive coach wants to have a decent offense so that his defense can get on and off that field and be well rested and give that offense out there? I think that people underestimate the fact that a defensive coach maybe concentrate on defense, but he certainly doesn't mean he doesn't want a good offense, because no one wants to work on a tired old defense. So
yeah, as a defensive coach, he's a head coach. Let's not get it twisted. So his ultimate goal is he wants to win.
Absolutely.
He just understands the importance and probably puts an emphasis on stopping teams from scoring more so than actually getting in the red zone. I mean, actually getting in the end zone on the offensive end. Not to say that that's not important. Obviously, you got to score points to win. But we've seen teams, obviously the Buccaneer teams that I played on in 2002, as well as, the Baltimore Ravens team and even the Seattle team this past year. These are defensive-minded teams who offenses were good enough to compete in the league, but the strength of their team was not letting teams score a lot of points.
Correct.
Therefore, if you actually make the job easier, a Lovie Smith coach team is looking for 21 points out of the offense because as a defense, we're not trying to let teams. We don't plan on teams coming in here and scoring 3 touchdowns on us.
Right.
So as you build your offense, we don't have to have a high-powered offense. We need an offense that can control the clock, move the ball, and give us at least 3 touchdowns over a 4-quarter game. That's very realistic and achievable for NFL caliber players. You with me?
Yes.
And you're able to do that with a solid defense, with the emphasis on defense. It's a priority for teams not to come in here and score 3 touchdowns.
That's right.
And there's a difference. It's just a rearrangement of priorities. It's not saying that the offense is not important. It's just we putting the emphasis on stopping teams opposed to scoring a whole bunch of points and even making those type of investments on offense to feel as though we have to score that many points. A solid offensive line, a quarterback who can control the game, and the ability to move the ball up and down the field, and a defense that can stop teams from getting in the end zone. That's just his philosophy, and he's had success with it. He's had success with it. He's been to the Super Bowl, and he was a presence in the NFC Central with the Chicago Bears. So, I like the things he's doing.
Yeah, I do too. And a lot of people want to say, oh, well, he wasn't that successful there. And it's like you said, well, yeah, he only went to 1 Super Bowl, but he still went to a Super Bowl. The team was competitive each and every year. They maybe didn't do quite as much as they could have, but I also think that he was handcuffed too, that he didn't quite have the offense that he needed. I think he's got a better situation offensively here, at least with tools to work with, than he did when he was in Chicago. Look, I'd rather be competitive and have a chance than not be competitive and not have any chance at all. And I think, no offense to you as an offensive guy, but defense wins football games. The offense scores enough, like you said, but the defense ultimately comes up, and I think that's been proven in the majority of these Super Bowls of late, that the powerhouse offenses like Denver last year and the Patriots of 2008 and so forth, that the defensive teams are winning out more often than not. Even if this league gets more and more offensively oriented, I think that the defensive part of the game is becoming a lost art, in my opinion.
Not to cut you off, one thing to add to that,
yeah.
From a defensive, first of all, no offense taken on your defensive comments, but to actually add to that, defenses, when they keep teams, a big part of them is for a Super Bowl and playoff football. After 16 games, it's a copycat league. Once you get Denver in the Super Bowl, Seattle had enough film on them to know what they like to do. We're a good defense, and we got enough footage on you guys till it's an advantage us, because after a season of playing, we know your secrets. We know what you like to do. We know who you like to go to. We know your tendencies. So that actually, come playoff time, that weighs in the favor of the defensive teams over the offensive teams. You with me? There's only so many tricks, only so many disguises the offense could do. And come playoff football, there's maybe 1 or 2 more wrinkles you're going to throw in there, but the identity, you are who you are at that point in the season. You can't come and flip your whole offense and bring a new playbook. So you give a defensive-minded coach, Pete Carroll or Lovie Smith, these guys, a whole season worth of footage to review for the Super Bowl or even a playoff game. A lot of times the advantage go to defense, especially when you have the personnel on defense to match up with these offensive powerhouses.
I'm so glad that you just said that, because that was my argument. I mean, I picked Seattle to win that Super Bowl. I didn't pick them to win that big, but I was saying the exact same thing, because everybody, oh, well, you give Peyton Manning 2 weeks to plan for that defense, and he's going to pick them apart. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. And you hit the nail right on the head. It's like, look, your offense only runs so many wrinkles. You do what you do. I think defensively you can disguise a lot more, and if you know what to do and what's coming at you, I agree with you, and hearing that from an offensive guy, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks that way, because the advantage does go to the defense for sure, and I think that gets proven time and time again. I don't want to hold you up too much, Cozy. I appreciate you calling in. Just one last thing. I mean, how are you feeling so far? what do you think now going forward? I think the Bucks will probably still sign another guy here or two. What are you looking for them doing in the draft, or what do you think that they're trying to target now at this point?
With all the defensive talk, obviously we still need to get some offensive weapons in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not unhappy with the quarterback signing. I believe it's McNown.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's another competitive situation just to create competition. But I really, other than Vincent Jackson, I feel like we could use a couple of more down the field threats.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's because of the conference we play in. I mean, we know Drew Brees coming in here and they're going to move the ball on offense.
Mm-hmm.
We know Cam Newton, and the conference that we're in, we have some offensive powerhouses that are coming in here. And again, we don't have to get to that point, but we definitely have to build the type of team that can just move the ball up and down the field.
Absolutely.
You know, we can't just rely completely on Doug Martin. You know, we have to be able to stretch the field and just make the defense cover every aspect of the field. So me personally, I'd like to see a couple of more targets to come in here
Mm-hmm.
on the offensive side of the ball. And you can never have too many linemen, man. They got the they signed the one defensive end from I forget where he come from, but I know they signed the defensive Cincinnati.
Yep.
The defensive end.
Michael Johnson.
And I think they still could use another rusher, another pass rusher.
Well, I mean,
guy in the middle.
They did get Clinton McDonald, defensive tackle from Seattle, who was, he wasn't necessarily a starter, but he was definitely a key role player for them. So they did do that.
Yeah. I'm more or less talking about just a guy who gets to the quarterback. I know
Right.
he's in the middle. He's got to show up and run.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to see one more just pass rush, even if it's a backup player, to come in and be in that mix.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at what Michael Bennett did going to Seattle. You know,
Yeah.
he wasn't a starter out there. He was a role player, but he was very effective in that role. You with me?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I miss him too.
I actually have to run right now, man.
Okay.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Cozy. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Take care, Cozy. Thank you.
All right.
Well, there you have it, folks. An unexpected call and kind of turned it into an interview. So
How about that surprise for you, Steve?
I appreciate that.
No
That's
problem.
good. Hey, not bad interview for On the Fly. So there you go. There you have it. Former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Super Bowl champion, and BCS champion with the Tennessee Volunteers in 1998. Cozy Coleman. Definitely can use his opinion on stuff. So there we go. There you have it. So what we'll do, I think we need to take one more quick break, and because we're running up against it, and we'll touch on a few more free agent things, and we're going to have to wrap it up because we are running out of time.
And me. So say the stars, it's meant to be. My heart is for you. My soul is too. I pledge my life. One day you'll be my wife. I swear this much is true. Oh, I don't wanna love no one but you. Hold it, she fell for it. She thinks I'm in love. No, son, just here for fun. Sex is the only thing I love, 'cause I'm that dude. Yeah, I'm that dude. 'Cause I'm that dude. 'Cause I'm that dude. Well, it's Friday night and I'm all alone, so I pick up the phone. Tiffany. Yeah, it's me. I know it's been a while since I've gone. But my dog died, and I lost my job. And I'm out here on the So baby, please, could you come and comfort me? I'm about to lose my head. Hold it, she fell for it again. She thinks I'm in love. Nah, son, just here for fun. Fucking is the only thing I love. Cause I'm that dude. I'm still on the phone, you fucking jerk. Yeah, I'm that dude. Cause I'm that dude. Cause I'm that dude. Yeah, I'm that dude.
Are you in need of legal assistance? Michael G. Butash, attorney at law, may be able to help. A solo practitioner who will provide you the individual attention needed to walk you through your case. Attorney Butash can help you in the areas of criminal defense, personal injury, DUI offense, drug possession, and more. Call today for a free initial consultation. Pick up the phone and dial 813-341-2232.
Welcome back to the Spence Sports and Entertainment. Welcome back to the show today. We're going to wrap up to the top of the hour. We're going to talk about the NCAA basketball. I wanted to touch a little bit on the USC fights last night, but unfortunately, it really was not much of an event card, to be honest. So, unfortunately, I'm going to pass. Although the main attraction, Johnny Hendricks did defeat Robbie Lawler. It was quite a brutal match. Went the distance all 5 rounds. Decision went to Johnny Hendricks, who does capture the vacant welterweight title. So congratulations to Johnny Hendricks. Other than that, the only other fights really on there, I was just glad to see Diego Sanchez lose. Anytime that punk ass gets beat is always a good thing to me. And other than that, it was pretty much a yawner.
No, the only thing that pisses me off about UFC is it's always 30, 27, 30, 27, 29, 28. Well,
it's how rounds are scored, you dumbass.
No, I get that. 30, 27, 30, 27, and then 29, 28. There's always that one that scores the fight.
That's why they have the ultimate judges.
Different.
Judges see things differently.
Well, that one judge saw everything differently.
Okay. Well, at any rate, night. And then there was the one female fight, and I was surprised to see Raquel Pennington lose. So I guess she's probably done. Yeah. She lost an Ultimate Fighter, and she's a loser now, and so she's probably done. But anyway, it was not that great of an event. So not that I would talk about it, but we just don't have enough time because right now, today is Selection Sunday for the NCAA tournament. They are not all full yet. They got a few games going on right now, and today, once those games wrap up, they'll have the final matchups, and the brackets will be announced later this evening. There is a wide variety of different teams in this field this year. I tell you, this is why it's nearly impossible to pick. I think your number 1 seeds are going to be Florida, Arizona, Michigan, and Wichita State. Wichita State, finished the regular season undefeated. If they were somehow to win the national championship, and I don't want to say if somehow because they did make the Final Four last year. Say what you want about their schedule, they still to go undefeated, and it doesn't happen very often. That's still remarkable, and it's a tough thing to do. They would finish up 40-0 and be the first NCAA team to win 40 games. But you've got teams in this tournament like North Dakota State, North Carolina Central, Milwaukee, Stephen F. Austin, Eastern Kentucky, Mercer, I mean, this Mount St. Mary's and Coastal Carolina are going to probably have a play-in game. Just some not common names in there. It's just going to be a very, very bizarre set of brackets this year. Of course, I'll be pulling for UConn. They're going to probably get a mid seed of probably a 5 or 6 seed. It's not necessarily a bad position to be in. It's not the greatest. There's going to be some teams in there that probably don't belong outside of probably most of those teams that I mentioned. American University as well. Number 2 seeds probably be like Duke, probably Villanova. Kansas, I don't know if Kansas still deserves a number 2 seed the way they've been faltering. Wisconsin, a number 2 seed. Syracuse has been faltering quite a bit lately. They're going to get a 3 seed. I just don't even know anymore. I just don't know how this is all going to work out. But Florida's probably going to beat Kentucky again today, win the SEC title. Puke's probably going to beat Virginia, although Virginia was a regular season ACC champion. Duke hasn't been playing that great lately. Virginia could very well win that game. This is going to be. No one's going to win $1 billion by picking every team, every bracket 110%. Correctly. So that's why those offers are out there. It's just not going to happen. So there's no official brackets made out right now, but I really can't even tell you who the Final Four teams. I mean, I definitely think Wichita State could be in there. I think Arizona has a chance of being in the Final Four.
I think Louisville has a good chance to make it to at least the Elite
Louisville
8.
could, yeah. They destroyed UConn again last night after beating them by nearly 40 last week. But at least UConn got to the championship game of that conference tournament, which is was big, so that'll help. That helps their seeding a little bit. They won't be making any magical runs though. They definitely have some deficiencies in that team, but they'll be in there. I know Michigan a number 1 seed though. I don't know. I'm just not sold on them, but there's not a whole lot of teams out there I can get sold on either. It's like when you think they're really, really good, then all of a sudden they don't do that well after all. So this is just going to be a very, very interesting tournament to say the least. Yes, Florida is 31-2 now. I'm still just not convinced that they're all that super either. But again, it's going to come down to matchups, who's going to have to face who, and also, I don't think the seedings are going to make much of it. Pairings are going to make a difference too, but the pairings, then you break it down to the matchups, and by matchups, so I can clearly define myself, I'm talking about man-for-man matchups, not team matchups. Sometimes some teams just don't play well against other certain teams, and whereas that team that they can't beat gets beat by another team that team can beat. It's just so that's what I mean by matchups. And Zach and I were having that discussion the other day.
We had the discussion last week. We had the discussion yesterday at the Storm, or 2 days ago at the Storm game. Because we kind of both thought we were saying something different. So
correct. So when I say matchups, I'm talking about man-for-man matchups.
And I thought he meant seeds.
Yes, and that's not what I was referring to. So anyway. So that's going to be the brackets will come out this evening. So unfortunately, we won't have a bracket show because the games will start this week before our next broadcast next Sunday at 11 a.m. Actually,
yeah. Speaking of which, tell them about that real quick.
Actually, next week we're contemplating either we're going to still come on at 11 and only go till 12, make it a 1 hour show, or we may start early, go 10 a.m. to 12. Reason being is we're actually going to be attending UConn baseball against USF, and that game starts at 1 next week, so we certainly don't want to be running into 1. So we want to be out of here by 12. So we'll make that decision sometime this week, but we'll either be on from 10 to 12 next week.
Which is the one I'm leaning more towards, because we have because we can give updates on the MCAA brackets and how our stuff is doing. It's going to take up a lot of time.
Yeah, so probably we'll probably do 10 to 12 next week, so just keep that in mind, and of course we'll try to do a better job of announcing the show throughout the week, which we did not do this week. But I do appreciate you all tuning in, and we'll look forward to next week. So, however the brackets are shaping up next week, we'll start talking about those and break those down. So, and of course, if you're not doing anything next week, come out to USF. We're going to be attending some of those baseball games. Really nice facilities out there. Good time to be outdoors and see a little bit of college baseball. And
as UConn will take down USF.
Well, let's hope so. So we're doing that. So I want to thank Cozy Coleman for calling in, and Matt, who called in earlier as well. We certainly welcome any and all phone calls anytime to talk about. And as you can tell, we'll keep you on the line as long as we having a good conversation and have things to talk about. Again, if you're interested in ever becoming a sponsor on the show, you can contact Zach, and he'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. And we're always thankful for our current sponsor right now, Butash and Donovan. And I apologize, my mic has kind of been blocking their number on this banner all day, and
their number is 813-341-2232.
Right. So yes, we like to thank them and other side sponsors, of course.
We actually just got a new one. We're working on them right now, and hope we will start advertising them next week. Not going to give out any surprises. Going to wait till next week to do so.
That's right, and baseball season's coming up too, so we're going to start. We'll have to start talking some more baseball here soon, and start breaking that all down. Quite honestly, spring training I don't pay too much attention to. I just kind of wait till the season starts, and then we'll start doing a little baseball talk. But as always, if you haven't done so, head over to our Facebook page, 2 Cents Sports and Entertainment Show. Give a like on there. We're trying to get those up out there so we can get a little bit more exposure out there. Come check us out at the Tampa Bay Storm games, and if you enjoy the show, please spread the word out. Share our page with others. Invite others to take a listen as well. And we really like to get some more listeners, get some more phone calls. We really would like to. I don't want to just necessarily be the talking point all day. I can do it, but I'd like to have some participation too. So we'll never not let you have your opinion. So. With that being said, Zach, let's wind it down. Go ahead and give out your little wind-up information, and we'll sign out. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You guys want to like us on Facebook, like Scuba said, 2 Cents Sports and Entertainment Show. We're up to about 201. Let's try and our goal is to get that up to 250, 300. Let's work on that, folks. Follow me on Twitter at 2 Cents Zach. Working on Scuba getting on the Twitter. No, don't shake your head. It's going to happen. Nope. I don't twat. He's going to get with the 21st century. And then we're going to follow me at 2 Cents Zach. Everything upcoming besides the not playing Cozy Coleman interview call. And also check us out on the website, www.2centshow.webs.com. Check out the social media page. Check out my friend Taylor's YouTube channel, MEHH. It's Taylor. She posts a new video. It's freaking hilarious. I laughed my ass off for like 2 hours. And I'm going to thank Talkwad Studios. Also, April 4th is the Talkie Awards, where Scuba and I have been nominated for Best Sports Show, Best Overall Show, and Scuba was nominated for Best Host, as well as me as Best Producer. I'm going to pull a Keith Olbermann. Instead of throwing the paper behind me, I'm going to throw it at my camera. And Scuba, take it away. And that's it. You just heard it all from him. So, again, next week we'll probably be on from 10 a.m. to 12. Appreciate you all listening. Again, spread the word. Glad you tuned in. Like to hear from you. If you drop us chats on our Facebook page, we will get back with you. If you got any subject matter you ever want to talk about, please let us know. We'll be right there. Thanks for listening. We're out.
Sunshine down on me like had something to say. Any questions blue? Gotta leave this room. Staring at walls and I can't run away. I'll be okay. The sky will open up. The sun will fall around me. Waiting, 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 waiting.
Confidence building for our team. The guys played hard. I'm very proud of them. All phases of the game, we played hard. We fought through the adversity, and we came out with the victory. That's all that counts.
Earlier they were saying that chemistry and timing was one thing that they really wanted to work on. It looked like tonight the chemistry was there. Did you notice that? It was a little bit of a slow start, but then it really picked up. They were able to stay positive and keep it going?
Well, you have to understand that it's hard for us to get the timing down at the beginning because we practice outside. It's our first time in our arena, first time the guys on the net, and and they played good. They played very well. I'm pleased with the effort. If you look on our team, the guys gave 100% in all phases of the game.
And 4 touchdowns for Hilton tonight. What impressed you most about his game?
He's fast. He's very fast. He's a competitor. He's got a lot of fire inside him. I try to get him to channel it in the right direction at times, but he comes out and competes every day in practice, and he showed today.
Well, how about the tribute for the late Tim Martin? Just very touching.
It was great. I think our organization did a great job honoring a man that was at this organization for a long time. It's a credit to Derek Brooks and our organization and the guys that's leaders of this whole Tampa Bay Storm Nation. Tim did a lot of great things. I was one of the players that was under Tim Martin. His legacy will stand forever.
For you on the sidelines tonight, you came up as a player and you kind of saw everything as a player and now to be as a coach. Just for you personally, what was it like to get that first win? I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm just so happy for our team. Nothing toward me or anything. I'm happy for our guys. Our guys, it's a confidence booster right now. The guys really perform well, and that's a credit to them and their hard work in the camp. Did you notice anything that maybe they would need to improve upon in practice this week?
Our timing was a little off at the beginning. We wanted to kick it on all cylinders at the beginning of the game, and we talked about it. But, we fought through the adversity, and, they had some timing problems also. And it's normal at the beginning of the year, but we'll correct those mistakes and we'll keep going.
And how does a win like that kind of set the tone for the season? Such a big rivalry.
It's big. It's a divisional game, and that's what we preach at the beginning of the day. Beginning of our week. It's a division game. Counts big for us. Now we can go on the road and concentrate on San Antonio.
Coach, it was kind of a rough start to the game. Anything you can say to test it? You said to get the guys back on track.
Well, yes, it was a rough start, but the credit to our guys. We stayed the course. That's all that really matters. We stayed the course, stick together, team unity. We preach discipline. I think we had no offsides. I think that's probably the first for this team. And we preach discipline every day. And in the fourth quarter, the sprints paid off.
Do you think it was good to kind of have some contribution from not only a couple of the people who've been in the team before, but kind of a good mesh of old and new?
Well, that was the plan. We wanted to upgrade in all positions. So we had a lot of guys step up and play big tonight. Our offensive line did an awesome job. I thought we had some adversity at times, but we're used to it. We put them in adverse situations in practice, and they responded well.
Are you in need of legal assistance? Michael G. Butash, attorney at law, may be able to help. A solo practitioner who will provide you the individual attention needed to walk you through your case. Attorney Butash can help you in the areas of criminal defense, personal injury, DUI offense, drug possession, and more. Call today for a free initial consultation. Pick up the phone and dial 813-341-2232.